All right. All right. It seems like it's actually working. What's up? There we go. That is behind. This is on time. We're going to make it happen. So, going to go to the chats. Is this in all the things? Seems to be. Getting it sent to the YouTubes and it's going to be working, I think. It's going to be working. Maybe. Oh man, what a mess. Oh, sometimes it takes an hour to do something, and that is the problem with technology or a lot of other things. Anyways, we're here. We made it. It's Friday, Friday afternoon. I'm gonna be at the gym today, which is good, and going to my son's basketball game, so that's got good stuff. And I work today, which is fantastic. But what I'm here for today is not about me. It's about what we have going on right now and how we've done a a lot of work over these last couple of years, and I've been working hard for a while to show up as being a great dad and in support of shared parenting and fathers' rights movement, making it so kids get to have moms and dads. Right now, I am not getting that camera, so let's see if we can plug this bad boy back in. If I get my camera back, I got two cameras. Let's have them both working, right? Camera A. If I can stream better, but this is what's it. So I have been walking on my treadmill, doing some videos, but I'm gonna walk on my treadmill today, do this video, and talk to you guys about what's going on here. So uh, big day yesterday here in South Dakota, and I moved a bunch of stuff around, so we'll see how this even goes. But big day here in South Dakota. Yesterday, probably nobody really even knows about it because I haven't talked about it, and very few people probably know about it in general, anyways. Because most bills and most things that get done that are being worked on by our legislators and everybody else really are not really talked about. Most people don't talk about them. They don't know what's happening, and so we are kind of off in the dark. And unfortunately, that's just the way that this goes most of the time. But I wanted to come on today because I want to give some love to my friend Tom, who really has made a difference. He's a senator from Del Rapids, South Dakota. And the guy is one of the most amazing, committed, uh, intentional men out there. He's kind and he's supportive and he's focused. You don't get a much better guy than this. I'm blessed to call him my friend. I'm blessed to be in this experience with him, um, I'm just so thankful that we have him on our team. That if we didn't have Tom on our team, in my personal case, I wouldn't have my son on Wednesdays. I wouldn't get him Monday nights. I would never get to take my son to school. Never. And I do now, one day every week, and every week I get to take him twice. And I'd like a little bit more, but man, it's just a blessing to be here right now to have that time with my son and getting to spend that with him and stuff. And if it weren't for this man, Senator Tom Pischke, who's on the cover of our thing while I was sitting there on the highlight, getting ready to show up, that man, Tom Pischke, has been battling for kids and battling for families and non-custodial parents for a decade, and even further when you go back into his own personal case and stuff, because he's been going through this himself. He didn't just come into this knowing that it needed to be done and seeing it from somebody else's point of view. He lived the experience on his own and still is today because he has kids. But that he's overcome that and realizes that's what's going on, and that he is committed to making sure that this is going to be different, though. What's up, Brian? What's up, my friend? And because of that, he's not giving up. And a lot of times here in South Dakota, what I've seen going on and stuff in South Dakota and across a lot of other places is that what's happened is that he has been fighting all by himself, one man against the machine. And if you guys out there, everybody's been to court. If you're following this channel, most likely you've gone to family court and you've experienced family court for yourself. And I'm sure your experience with family court, if you follow this page, was not positive. Was not positive. And this guy's wasn't either. Senator Tom Pischke's experience was not positive, and he said, "That's too much. This is not okay. What happened to me? I'm a great guy. I'm a hell of a dad. I love my kids. And my kids love me, and there's absolutely no reason that I shouldn't have them half the time." And so Tom said, "You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go run for office. I'm gonna go run for office, and I'm gonna get back in my kids' lives. I'm gonna make this stuff happen. And he fought and he fought, and I met him 8 years ago. 8 freaking years ago, man. It's amazing how fast time goes. And so slow because 8 years ago we were almost in the exact same place in DC hanging out. Me and Tom. I actually fun story. I'm walking in and I don't really know that many people. I'm going through the experience. I'm brand new. My son. I started Kids Deserve Dads on the page and I wrote some bills in Wyoming. Yeah, I got a couple passed. They were pretty decent. One of them's actually part of the story we're going to be talking about today, which is great and horrible at the same time because of the context of why it comes up. But anyways, so I am sitting there and I walk in this room and there's a bunch of people in this room. I don't even know anybody. I've talked with Mark Ludwig on the phone maybe 3 or 4 times before he invited me out to come here and speak and be part of this. And so I was like, yeah, man, I would love to be part of this. It's so important and there's so many hard things going on and I got bigger bills that I want to work on. I can learn from everybody who's here, what they've got going and what's been happening. And I want to do that back home in Wyoming right now. Man, everywhere's against fathers right now, Martin, my friend. Nice name though, too. Zach Martin here right now. But everywhere is mostly against fathers, and really, it's a bit. They know that fathers are going to fight for their kids, and they're going to spend money. And they're going to go to court, and they've incentivized the system on the first person to quit. That person wins and takes their kids, and then they go and they suck everybody out for their money. And I'm sorry you're going through that. So Tom Pischke and I I walk in and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know, nobody here, nothing going on. I'm not gonna sit front row, but I'll sit somewhere close. So I'm in the second row. I like being like close to the front. I'm not gonna be a suck up front row, but I'm gonna be there close. And so I'm sitting there and I walk in, I sit down, and I sit down next to this guy, and he's got a suit on, looks good. He's a big old boy too. And I walk in, I'm 6 foot tall, but this guy makes me look like a shrimp. And so I walk in, I'm sitting there and we start kind of striking up a conversation and stuff, a little friendly chit chat going back and forth, just getting to know each other a little bit. And then we're sitting there. What's up? What's up, Ryan? Good to see you, my friend. And we're sitting there, we're talking, and realized he's from South Dakota, and I was from Wyoming. And when I was there, my son's mom had just moved up here, and just moved to South Dakota. Long story. We're not going that today. Today's about Tom Pischke. Today's about this champion, larger than life dude right here in South Dakota. My friend, blessed to be in relation and connection with a dude like this. He grounds me and keeps me balanced while I probably push some buttons and I keep him on his toes. And I think he enjoys that a little bit. And I sure appreciate the heck out of this guy. And so we're there and we're talking to build it and neighbors and stuff. Like, oh man, I'm gonna be in South Dakota here in a couple years. I have one more build that I was gonna do in 2019, and so I'm gonna be moving up there. I'm looking forward to this chance, and we're gonna get to do this stuff. And so we're sitting there, and Tom and I are talking about how we're gonna make this stuff happen in South Dakota and what he's been doing. He's like, I got shared parenting. I'm working on it. Did a couple bills this last year, and I think at that point in time, he was just in his second session of being a senator, or a house rep at that point in time, a house rep here in South Dakota, from Del Rapids, man. One of the best dudes. Never been to Del Rapids, but if it's got Tom Pischke and it made a guy like that, it's got to be a swell place. So I'm sitting there and we're hanging out, we're talking, we're chit chatting. And he gets up and does his speech, and I do my speech. We have some lunches and stuff, and I got to meet a bunch of cool guys: Nick Dreesen, Yaya McLean, my boy Philly Slim. I got to meet a whole bunch of cool people around Missa Isaac. I mean, the list goes on and on. I could be sitting here name dropping, but Tom Pischke was about, and I met Tom Pischke and we hung out, and so we exchanged numbers then that day, and we were there for a couple of days, and we talked quite a bit about what was going on in South Dakota. And so I was gonna move up there. Well, I told him I was gonna move up here, but then my bill didn't go through, and I applied to law school, and all of a sudden I'm in law school. I'm gonna be a lawyer. And Tom's like, "What the hell? I thought you were gonna come up here and you're gonna help me fight against this system." And I was like, "Tom, I'm coming. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna help you fight this, and we're gonna stop these guys." And he's like, "Well, I need you here now." And I was like, "I'm sorry, my friend. I got to do this because I think I'm gonna be more impactful by being in the spot, being able to help more families going through this experience because I've gone to law school now. They're gonna give me more credit because now I'm a lawyer." Camera A, and they're gonna give me more credit because of that. And so then I'm in. Then I'm in, Tom. And so that's what I was telling him. I was going to do it when that happened. I did it. I passed. I passed the freaking test, and I said, Tom, I'm there. And so last year I was there, and I showed up. I showed up last year, and um, was there for the shared parenting bills, and was there for some lobbying work, and was talking to him and stuff. I really was lobbying hard, and we got all the way to the final day. On the final day, the bill got through. Uh, it was a heck of a great story. We got through the Senate, no problem. Tom has that place on lockdown. And then from the Senate, we went to the House. Got beat up in the House committee, but we smoked it out. And a smoke out means we actually revived it back on the floor. And then with the floor, then they have a vote, which requires a supermajority. That vote then votes on if you're actually going to hear your vote to hear the testimony in favor or against it. And so there was the vote to hold that and bring it back up, and then they went to a back room. An hour later, came out and voted down. We lost by one vote. And since then, we had a few very unfortunate circumstances and things that happened, and South Dakota has lost three of our supporters on the House side from last year, and they're replaced by not necessarily the most friendly ones. I don't know if they're against us necessarily, but we didn't gain any ground. We didn't gain any ground, and so this year, um, this summer, Tom and I were at every single one of the committee hearings, and he was in the committee on the guidelines. They invited him to be on the guidelines for child custody, and so and it was great because he helped to get it done. Where now our laws have dads and non-custodial parents, especially, but mostly dads, right, get to have more time with their kids at younger ages. It was very, very draconian, very about like kids don't need dads until they're like 17 years old, and then maybe they need a dad, and not that bad, but close. It's about five, and very little time, very little overnights and stuff up through the ages, and we got it moved down significantly. Good testimony by some good friends here and stuff, but Tom was on there working hard. He also wanted to be on the committee for child support, and they blocked him. They blocked him, wouldn't let him on there, and they put on one of our friends and one of the a lawyer here who is in favor of shared parenting, and she's been in our corner through a lot of this stuff. Obviously, this was not her strong suit, not her forte, but she's a lawyer, and though that they put her on the Child Support Commission in this space, even though it's where Tom wanted to be at, they put her on there. And Senator Holst is great, and I am a huge supporter of her. And you're gonna hear her talk, and I don't think anybody should judge her by what she says. I think she did a great job of being neutral and doing her role as being the senator on the committee, and and that's that, right? She had a job to do. She did it. I don't think she went out there and like overly like sold the bill, but I do think she did her job. And her job is to go out there and say that the committee did this, and here's what we came to, and here's what we're going to do. And so she did a great job of that. And then through that, Tom went out there and did a masterful job of explaining exactly why this bill is so destructive. And we went and testified 2 weeks ago on this bill in the House committee, and they are not our friends, and they were the ones on there that did this stuff, and we got beat up. Our speeches were good. Our points were on in the right spots. We did and delivered exactly what needed to be said to make it happen. It didn't happen for us. It didn't. It got through there. It got through the House after the committee passed it. It got to the Senate and it passed the committee. But I would tell you what, it passed the committee, right, by one vote. Um, And, you know, Senator Hulse is with us on everything. She voted on the other side of this one. But I think also because she's on the committee, and I think her job as the committee representative, that they are supposed to put this thing through. And so, I don't fault her for that vote and stuff. I think she did a good job, and she did a great job today of not being overly in support and pushing for it, but she did what was responsible and required of herself. And so sometimes as a good lawyer, you just say what you have to say and no more. And so she did that. And so what I want to do today, though, is I want to go through this thing because there's a lot of context that goes through this, and I've gone for 12 minutes. Gosh, I'm long freaking winded. But Tom Pischke is the man, and this dude stepped up, and he came through in the clutch. And what happened is that child support was going to go up 10% or more. I mean, some people were going to have up a 15% or more raise of their child support payments a month. if this would have passed. 15%. And that was going to be the lower end people. So if you're poor, you might have been paying 15 to 17% more of your money to child support. And who has an extra 200 bucks, $120 to pay for this stuff? If you are just over it, they were going to raise it up like 50 bucks increment. If you went over $1,200 a month in amount that you got for income, every $50 you went up, they took that $50 all on child support. Boom, 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 all the way up until $2,000 a month. And then it goes down a little bit from there and stuff. But at that lower end, they were just going to destroy all these fathers who are going through this stuff. And it was a financially destructive plan that they had in place. And they talk about, oh, it's only going to be up 3%, which are here. Only going to be up a little bit. Bless me. But it was only going to be up that much for the very very high level people where both people made a lot of money. At the low end, where these people are just getting by and barely surviving, if they're even doing that, those ones were going to be hammered on the most. And there's a lot of really good reasons that they did it and that they're planning on. Tom goes into all that and so much more. A masterful job. And so I want to go through here. I'm gonna play this for us right now. I'm gonna show you guys how this all works. Hear it all. So, but that's the,
Mr. President, House Bill 1040 is updating the child support schedule as a member of the Child Support Commission that met over the interim for 8 meetings, open meetings, before we adopted this update. Um, we considered critical data that was examined when creating the schedule, including inflation amounts, as all South Dakotans have experienced, the price of essentials at the grocery store and department stores have increases.
can you hear that? You can hear me now though, right, Brian? Because I think I was trying to play her speaking. That was Senator Holtz, and maybe I need to learn how to do this better. You know what? I should be getting Brian to work with me on these things because Brian's a master of these arts right here. Um, but she's introducing the bill. Tell me what the bill says. Anyways, I'll do a better job. I really want to play what Tom Pischke says because he just says some great things. What he did though is he broke it down very simply. You can hear him. Okay, I'm gonna go back to listening to her because I want to have what she says on here. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go back and play that because I want to be able to listen to what she says and then go back and forth. So I'm gonna play what she's saying again. Um, oh, when I see what you're saying because I was doing okay. There's no sound on that one. I'm gonna fix that, but maybe not today. Thanks, Brian. I figured it out now. Anyways,
Updates this schedule will ensure that both the payer and the support of the receiver of support will share in those increases proportionally. People will question, isn't inflation already built in? As parents' income changes, it may move them into different income categories, changing their base obligation. However, that is assuming that the obligation amounts are set in the existing schedule at the appropriate levels for today's child rearing costs, which they are not. As we all know, inflation has been significant. These numbers are outdated. And so this would just increase the amounts going forward. And the numbers that I have here say that the updated schedule reflects an average increase of 3%.
and when they say average, they're talking about the average of all of them, right? And they go up to like people making $1 million. Okay, well, Megan I can probably point it down on my thing and stuff. I'll figure out how I'm gonna do it better. But it goes up to like $1 million, and so it's a huge difference in from making $1 million to somebody who makes no money, making $2,000 a month. And at $2,000 a month, it was huge. It was significant. I could show you guys the slides, and I'll have to redo it and put the slides up there and stuff. But the difference in what a non-custodial parent and if you're poor, a lot of times, especially in girls, right? We all know girls are hypergamous, and so they're not going after like there's no doctors out there sleeping with like super poor dudes. and maybe there are occasionally, but not very often, right? No lawyers, no ladies who are lawyers are out there hanging out with some dude that works at Burger King. I mean, it doesn't happen. And if it does, it's very rare. So that doesn't happen. If they're poor, they're likely all poor, right? And so she's poor too. And if you make under $2,700 a month in South Dakota, you can get all the benefits from the state. So housing, food, everything else, right? And you get child support. And so on the rates they were going up, they were going to go up $75 a month. If you made $2,700, it was going to go up $75 a month of what your payments would be. But she's able to get, if she made the exact same amount of money, she is able to get, and we're at $75, that would have put it at 650. I want to say it's like 575 at that right now. It would have gone to 650, which is, a significant difference. And she's able to get, on top of getting all your $650 a month, she's able to also go out there and get food stamps for $300 a month per person. She's able to go out there and get housing of $1,500 a month for her and her family. She's able to get free health care for herself. She's able to get all this stuff for free utilities most likely and everything, right? So she's going to have a windfall to go from 2,700. When I did the numbers and stuff on it, it went to like $5,300 of what her money would have been, and no costs going out whatsoever. But that your costs are still the same, and it raised it up $75. And when I did the math, without counting food and insurance and car repairs or maybe an oil change every once in a while, you're in the negative $99. Like you went from being a negative $25 or $24 to end the hole now $99. And that's the math I did without any of those other things going on. So you're going backwards. And so uh, that's why I said 3%. 3% is the average, but it's not counting the lower income stuff as much as it's counting the people making $1 million a year, because this calculation, this page goes like 300 pages long, and it covers every single different demographic amount that they have, all the way up to literally like $1 million. So the people that have $1,000 are getting just get destroyed, and the people that make $1 million get a small little hit, right? It's a significant amount more money, right? 3% of a million, and 17% of 2,000 is a huge difference, and way more money being spent, but significantly less impactful. Significantly less impactful. And so those dads at the lower income level are just going to get destroyed, right? But that's like the whole goal of this whole thing, is to go out there and destroy these dads and these families as much as possible. Get you in the hole, throw you in jail, intimidate you, destroy you, take your licenses, take your ability to earn money away, take you back to court, abuse you and offend you. And so it's crazy how this stuff goes down. And so it's just absolutely out of control. And so anyway, so she talks about this 3% now, and then she goes on and she's pretty much done. But here comes Tom Pischke in a second.
Different income levels. So thank you.
There, she's done. That's the end, right?
Thank
3%.
you for the remarks on
Tom
10
Pischke's coming on now.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. When this bill passed out of Senate Judiciary a little earlier this week, I noticed it was 37 pages, and I thought, wow, this would be a good one to be read on the floor. But I don't want to do that to our good secretary. So instead, I'm just going to ask you to vote no here today. While it may seem that the intent behind these increases to ensure children have adequate financial support is commendable, I would submit to this body that the unintended consequences of such increases like these proposed are not necessarily favorable on families, parents, and children. First, we must recognize that the financial strain on non-custodial parents, increased child support obligations often means requiring parents to pay beyond their means. Many non-custodial parents are already managing limited incomes, struggling to meet their rent or mortgage payment, struggling to meet their transportation costs, and other essential expenses. By imposing higher payments, we run the risk of pushing them into more financial hardship, late payments, or even default, which ironically can result in less support for children. Secondly, higher obligations create higher tension and conflict between parents, which is counterproductive to the child's well-being. Families work best when co-parenting relationships are cooperative and not adversarial. Forcing unaffordable payments can lead to legal disputes, resentment, strained communication, all of which ultimately affect the child. Third, the unintended consequences on children is something we can consider. When the non-custodial parent cannot meet steep obligations, they may disengage from parenting altogether. Studies show that children benefit not only from financial support, but from active involvement from both parents. Excessive financial demands risk reducing that involvement, which can have long-term emotional and developmental impacts. Finally, increase in child support without considering the broader economic realities such as wage stagnation, cost of living, and inflation fail to achieve the unintended goal of improving children's lives. A fair, balanced approach ensures that children are supported without punishing parents into unsustainable financial situations. Now, it's true that the cost of living has increased, and families feel that.
All right, I had to pull the microphone apart so I could get to work. But um, Tom just goes into some of the background stuff at that point in time, and he's really just setting himself up here to now go through and explain the numbers that are out there and why this is so impactful and so devastating for fathers and for this demographic, which I kind of covered a little bit ago. But he goes into really good detail and he talks about the stories that are going on right here in South Dakota with real numbers of average people in the state. And it's better for the average person. Like I said, the people that are poor are the ones that just get hammered on by this. I mean, hammered on it. And I got all the numbers and stuff. I'll put some slides up and do some work later on that. But Tom goes great into here. And this is about Tom. And thank you, Tom, for being such an amazing champion for kids and for fathers, non custodial parents across the board. We need champions like you, and it is a blessing to have you here in the great state of South Dakota because without you, I don't even know what would be happening right now in this place. And so, a real blessing. But here we go. Let's listen to him some more.
Impact every day. However, simply increasing child support obligations doesn't account for whether non-custodial parents' incomes have kept up with inflation. Many are already stretched thin, and raising parents could push them into financial distress, which ironically reduces the child support children actually receive. Now, if you'll notice, um, I've handed out quite a few handouts here, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that. In one of the, I just want to lay out a situation. If you see the sample budget that I have here, that's that you're going to follow along with that. But then I'm going to give you some numbers as to what the reality is of someone. So the average income in state of South Dakota is somebody making about 55,000, just under $56,000. These are all numbers that you can look on the Google. So if you take two parents making $56,000, 55,943 actually, divide that by 24 payments. So that's someone getting paid twice a month. That comes down to a gross income monthly of $2,331.79. This is all in your information that you have. I hope you're following along. So you have some 401 contributions.
And that's one of the things is it's so challenging, right? There's so much information, and this is so labor intensive. And once he's done here, before the other people start talking afterwards, I'm going to go a little deeper into what he's actually saying. But it ties back into what happened in Wyoming and what they're doing here. This is like a ruse and a farce. The work that these people did, and Tom breaks it apart right here, right now, and defeats it right on the floor. Here we go.
Their healthcare premiums, and those are pre-tax deductions. That comes to $2,115.20. Then you have to take out your federal income tax, Social Security tax, Medicare, and of course, South Dakota has no state sales tax or state income tax, excuse me. But your net pay comes to $1,635.71. So you get that. That's the amount that you're going to put into your sample budget here. Twice a month, you're taking home 1635. Now, with this increase, you're going to increase your child support for that situation specifically for two parents making that amount, two kids. You're going to have child support of 930. Okay, it was 859, which you can find on page 5 of the bill, and it's going to be increased to 930, which is on page 23 of the bill. Actually, the obligations are 1717 increasing to 1861, which is an 8.5% increase, by the way. I know there's been some misinformation put out there that this is only 3% increases. In this scenario, it's actually an 8.5% increase.
Like I said, This is the middle range, and it gets better the richer you are. But when you're poor, they hammer on you even harder. And so what he does is he shows us out really well on how 8.9%, like they were way off and saying a three, and you could tell, Senator Holtz was not selling this at all, but she said her part, and Tom comes in here and narrows it down right now and just really lays the stuff out there very cleanly and does a great job. He's just gonna keep going too, and then uh, he hits like he's just Tom's a beast, and the guy's so kind about it too. He's not in your face. He's not overly aggressive. Even when people are attacking him and smearing him and making rude comments and stuff, which happens all the time inside this body, Tom takes it like a champ, and he just keeps moving forward. They can't stop him. Here he comes again.
And you can find those increases again on page 5 and then on page 23 in this scenario. Okay, getting back to your budget, $465 twice comes to $930 of child support. A mortgage payment. Now, what's rent going to cost you for a 3 bedroom? And according to the Google, that's going to cost you $1,400 to $1,700 in South Dakota. I budgeted modestly for a $1,200 apartment. So in the budget, it's 600 from each paycheck to pay for your rent. If you have a vehicle, you have a payment on that. The state of South Dakota average for a vehicle payment is $465. I say we're getting a modest vehicle and we only have to pay $150 per paycheck. So $300. Again, a modest amount. What's your cell phone cost?
He's saying a modest amount, right? He's saying that you're $200 below the housing amount, and you're $200 below a car. And we all know if you're buying a $300 a month car payment in today's day and age, dude, you got an old car that's not going to last, right? It needs work. It's going to have things to be done, and he's acknowledging that, and he's saying that I'm going to budget on the low side for everything to make this as kind and as simple and as friendly to the state's desires and bill that they proposed, because the state did all this work on it and they wasted a bunch of money. And this lady that they had coming in here, she is awful. And we'll talk about her later on because Dr. Veneur, she's more like manure and she is going to be exposed when I go through this stuff later on. But Tom right now gets into the details and hits them hard right here. Here he goes.
About $110. That's in the budget. Groceries. Average in groceries for someone is $300. I don't know if I can survive on $300 of groceries. I'm kind of a big guy, but that's what it says on the Google for $300 of groceries every.
Tom's a big boy. I don't know what Tom's eating. He might be eating like just rice for $300 because my friend Tom can put it down. I would imagine, but he's 100% right. Who can live off $300 a month? I do the meal prepping stuff with my group, and I do it quite often. When I do the meal prepping works with the groups and stuff, I'm we're looking at 100 $125 a week being spent, and that's with like meal prepping, a bunch of protein, and not a lot else. And very, very light potatoes and meat, and that's it.
Month. What do we spend on gasoline? $150. That's in your budget. What do we spend on our water bill? $35. What do we spend on our student loans? $200. Anybody have a student loan that was more than $200? I did. What do we spend for electricity? $120. What do we spend for our internet service? $60. Put all these things into our budget, and you're already in the red, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't any discretionary spending. This doesn't count for your vehicle insurance. This doesn't count for any vehicle repairs. This doesn't count for anything else. And you're already going backwards financially. That's
Boom. And that's somebody who makes $56,000 a year. Somebody who makes $56,000 a year, he is going backwards from day one in this new plan. He's going backwards anyways. I mean, you're not getting ahead in this. He has to get a second job. He has to get a second job with our current system right now. The current way it's set up, he has to get a second job. This is going to require him to get a second job. You know what they're going to do? They want to be able to start putting people in jail. They're working on trying to build more jails anyways, right? They want to build more jails here in our state. They want to put more people in jail. And Tom's out here saying, you're going to be doing this to more people. You're going to be taking more licenses away. You're going to be destroying families. And Tom laid it out crystal clear. Who can do it on that? How are you going to make it happen?
what we're talking about here. Now, I understand that we want to pay for kids, I want to pay for my kids too, and I do take care of my kids. Okay, in the situation that was presented in committee from the department,
And the department made stuff up the whole entire time. This doctor comes in, right? She comes in and she's talking about all the things, and she's getting paid thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. I don't even know what her number is. I should look it up. I bet I can find it, and I bet it's way too freaking much for the lies that she came in there and told flat out. And then when she got called in a lie, like typical style and everything that I post here on Kids Deserve Dads, she comes in there and then like makes all these excuses on it's somebody else's fault and all these other things, right? She can't take any responsibility for any of the stuff that's going on, and she lied flat out and said, "I worked on that." Well, then you should have known. And why are you putting a slide up saying 2025 when you know back in 2018 we changed the law in Wyoming? Why are you doing that? Why are you lying to people? And she lied flat out in front of the committee, and they just took it like this because you know what? She was saying all the things they wanted to hear to raise child support payments. And I gave Tom all that information, and Tom went through it, and Tom hammered on him in that committee also. But he got like 5 minutes, like I did. They gave us almost no time at the very beginning before they even had the debate. So they talked about everything and did all the work, and we got to talk in the next one for 5 minutes total time between Tom and myself, because Tom and I were on every one. A few people showed up, and I'm gonna give some credit and stuff, but Tom was there for everyone, and so was I, and they gave us 5 total freaking minutes. That's it.
they had a situation where the non-custodial parent was making 4,000 a month and the custodial parent was making 3,000 a month. That obligation is increasing from 1488 to 1681, which is a 13% increase. I find it ironic that they're telling everybody on this floor that's only increasing 3% when they literally gave an example that's going up 13%.
And there's no penalty for them lying, right? They show up and they say these things. They say whatever they want to say, and there's no penalty for the guy from Department of Social Services flat out boldly lying right to your face and right to these people's faces, and then they put it out there like it's true. And if it wouldn't have a champion like Tom Pischke there to defend non-custodial parents and kids, more dads would be in jail, more kids wouldn't have a father in their lives, and our society would be going downhill even faster. But we have Tom in there right now, saving the day. Thank you, Tom. Thanks for standing up.
A little bit bothersome.
Very bothersome.
Nevertheless, I digress from that situation, that conversation. I want to talk about one other thing.
Oh, Tom. Tom about to talk about something else. Can you guys imagine something that Tom might want to talk about? Why is the state so concerned with raising more money? Why do they want to raise how much we're paying so bad? They're so insistent on they want to lie, make up numbers, make up numbers. When the dad's making $4,000 a month, he's paying 13% more now of his money to child support than before. 13% more. That's what they want to raise it at. And that's only for the guys that are making 40,000. When we're making 30,000, they hammer on even harder. It's probably closer to 20% on those guys, 25%. And less than $3,000, it's even more draconian. But here we go. Tom's gonna get into real stuff right here.
During the Child Support Commission, as a good senator said, there were many public meetings. During those public meetings, public comments were given. Where's my sheet on that? There were 32 public comments given during those meetings. Not one person came in and stated the obligations are too low. They talk about enforcement, talk about ideas and how we can reform the system, but nobody's coming in and saying, "Hey, that's too low. We need to up these." That didn't happen whatsoever. Now, one more thing, and then I'll be done, Mr. President. I know I'm going on here.
Here he goes.
Here's a little dirty secret nobody wants to tell you about the child support system.
Oh, a dirty secret. I want to hear this one. Who wants to hear about some dirty secrets? Because Tom's about to expose some stuff right here on the floor. Guess what? He lays it out perfectly right here. Here we go, Tom. Let's do this, buddy. Hey, thanks, Tom.
Our state is tied to Title IV, Part D of the Social Security Act. Title IV, Part D created the Federal State Child Support Enforcement Partnership. Under this system, states receive federal reimbursement for a large share of their administration costs, additional incentive payments based on performance metrics, and they have incentives tied to how much child support they collect. And that last point is critical here.
So critical, right? They get to make money off of how much money they collect. You raise it, they get to collect more.
The more a state collects in child support, the more federal incentive funding it receives. Let me say that again. The more the state collects, the more free money it gets from the federal government. That means the state is federally incentivized to collect more and more and more money so they can receive more and more and more federal money.
That's right. Because all about them making more money. And so to say they're only going to get 3%, sure, for some people, but for most, it's going to be a lot more.
Now, that might sound all great and dandy when you're talking about federal dollars for rural health care or rural broadband, but it's a little bit different in my mind when you're literally making it harder for people to live just so the state can collect more money.
Mm-hmm.
Policies like this push parents away from their kids, and they promote single family households all in the name of money, and this should be rejected.
And I think even further than that, right? This puts guys in the hole. This puts guys in the hole. Well, the state gets to make that interest, right? When you're in the hole, they get the interest money. When you go to jail, and you're in jail for almost 6 months, you got to pay back all that child support. Guess what? They get federally incentivized to collect that back payment. So when there's back payments, they get more money. They get more federal dollars. The federal dollars go up. So they get to collect this and they get to collect it on that. And now they get to throw more people behind and make more money on the interest and more federal dollars for collecting that behind payments. And they're getting the incentives. They're getting all that extra money, and those guys are just chomping at the bits, looking to hold kids hostage to make that money off the dads. And they were just salivating on it, salivating. And I got to hang out with them in the hallway talking to them about it. And they knew that I know what's going on, but still, they couldn't stop pushing this stuff because what they care about is getting that money, hitting those bonuses and stuff. Because I bet they get bonuses too on how much money they bring in.
I strongly urge for your no vote on this bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
I could play everybody else and stuff, and I'm not going to do it because there's a couple people that vote that speak against it and stuff. And they're wrong and they know it, and anyways, there'll be more coming out about that stuff later on. But Tom hit it home, man. I tell you what, that guy, um, since the day I met him, huge fan, uh, good friend, a great friend now, and I look forward to doing so much more with him in the future going forward. It's a joy and a privilege to call him my friend and to know that he went out there and he defeated this. And these people in these areas and stuff in there, especially the ones who promoted this bill, not Senator Holtz because she is on our side, and she had to do it because it was her job. But then um, this guy, uh, they totally went out there and got him and stuff, and he did a great job. This is the one time where Tom's gone out there and actually won, and so it was an amazing moment for Tom. And when we talked about it afterwards, he never told me how he was going to celebrate. But I can tell you how I'm going to celebrate with him next week when I see him in Pier because I'm going out there to hang out one more time. I'm going out there with Tom because I'm taking him out to Mad Mary's, and I'm gonna buy my friend Tom Pischke the fattest, most delicious prime rib that he can get. And I'm taking him out and doing that for him because he's my friend and somebody that I care about more than uh, most people in the whole entire world. He's one of those guys that I would do anything for, and I will. And I'm going to keep showing up and defending Tom and working with Tom. And what we have going on here is some amazing stuff happening here in the near future here in South Dakota. He's going to have more people on his team in these houses working on this stuff. I can guarantee that. I'm committed to it and I'm working on it right now. And what Tom's gonna be doing, we're gonna have more voices, more presence there in that place because the enemies who make money off this stuff, who want to say that they're not making money, it was one of the funniest things that I heard, and I won't about today because that's a different audio podcast we'll talk about. But Tom went out there and actually did a masterful job live in the House committee when they did this stuff. But Tom went out there, yeah, dude, prime rib, Nick, we're doing it, Mad Mary's baby. He went out there and took these people on, and they keep coming at him. They like take jabs. They take jabs at him all the time. They've been beating him up for 12 years, and they think it's funny. They get kicks out of it and stuff. And Tom sits there and takes it, like a champ, dude. The guy's a powerful dude. I mean, in general, and he goes out there and makes it happen. And he's not afraid to say the right things when it needs to be said. And I think having more support and more backing right there makes him more brave and more committed to saying the things that maybe he wouldn't have said 7 8 years ago because he would have been beat up for it. But now he's got people on his back, and I'm committed to being there for him each and every day, and I'm committed to being him for him next year and stuff because the people that are against us, they're there every single day. You go to the Capitol, The people that don't want to have shared parents, don't want to have dads allowed in kids' lives, those people are there every single day. The Trial Lawyers Association, they're going to tell you that they're there every day. The domestic violence groups that lobby against dads getting to see their kids, that make it as hard as they can to make dads get to see their kids and make all these rules and try to push all these things, they're out there every single day. They're hanging out, they're joking, they're going to dinner and stuff. They're getting paid to be there every single day. And there's no dads in that room except for Tom every day. And I was there this year 10 days. 10 days out of 40. And that's not even a drop in the hat. And they're there for 50 years. One guy's been there for 9 years, right? That's not how they've been there for all this time. I've been there for 30 years doing this stuff. Well, of course, everybody knows them and their buddy, and they get all whatever I say goes, right? I do what I want. I got $500 for you for your campaign and stuff. That's how they do this stuff, and that's what we're here to stop. And Tom's out there, not taking none of these people's money, doing the right thing, fighting for what's right, knowing that he's up against the biggest wall, the biggest people that are out there trying to stop him from making these changes. But he won't stop. He won't stand down. And that's what we need is more of that right here, right now. We need you guys getting in there, and not to be like overly aggressive and angry and saying stuff that's gonna get you in trouble. The thing that I did on my walk and stuff, I was a little upset, and I probably said some things I shouldn't have said. Anyways, don't do that. I shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. And you gotta be willing to go out there and push it. Show up. Nothing's gonna change if you're not willing to do anything about it. And so asking for me to do stuff, I've had people reach out, hundreds of people saying, "Sick, I need you to come here to my state. I need you to come here to my state." We got the women supporting equal parents' rights on here right now. We got a bunch of people. Nick is out here every day. People asking for this stuff, right? Robert Garza, Mark Ludwig. We can't do anything everywhere. I live here. I see these people. I get to talk to them all the time. You live in your state. You have to go there and do the stuff in your state. You know? You have to go out there and do the stuff in your state. And so get involved. Make a couple phone calls. Send a couple emails out. Go drive over there and stay. I know this might be tough. Get a few friends together and throw together on some gas. You know, make and it doesn't cost anything to make some phone calls. It doesn't cost anything to send out a couple emails. It might take some time, and you may not get a response. You might get a canned response, but you still got it done. It's a move in a positive direction. When you have these people that are running and stuff, go out there and talk to the people that are running. It's campaign season right now, getting started. It's happening in your town, and go out there and make those phone calls. Call them up, ask them their thoughts. Where are they at on shared parenting? See if you can help them out. See if you can help them out. See if you can help them out to make that stuff happen, because that's how you're going to make this stuff to get done. That's how you're going to do it. If you don't show up, if you're not there making this work to happen on this stuff, if you're not doing anything, it's not going to happen. You can't just rely on somebody like Robert Garza and Mark Ludwig to be able to make all these changes across the whole entire world. They can't do it. They need you. Everybody needs us to go out there and do this stuff. And we need people going in for office. If you can do it, go and do it. But get involved, get started, do something. I don't care what it is. If you need help, if you need an idea, you can hit me up, man. Hit me up. Women supporting equal parents. She's on here right now. I guarantee you send her a message on her page and ask her how to do it. She'll get it. She'll give you an idea. She'll tell you something to go do. Guarantee it. Anybody that's in this group, you know, uh, um, Garza's got like a thing going on. I think he's making like 17 Zoom meetings a day or something. Go on one of his Zoom meetings and he'll give you ideas. He'll help you out. He'll throw a bunch of bones in your lap. But you have to take the bull by his horns, right? That's the saying. You've got to get out there and do something, because it can't just be on us. If I come in from the middle of nowhere from South Dakota, right, and you're like in Alabama, or I don't know where, freaking somewhere else, yes, reach out. She's just right here right now. If you're in these places, I can't help you. I'm gonna show up. They're gonna be like, "Who the heck's this guy?" Oh, well, he runs Kids Are Dads, and he's got 11 followers and stuff, and he worked on a bill in South Dakota and in Wyoming, and they're gonna be like, "Okay, like he can't vote, he can't do nothing, he's not throwing any money in my way or anybody else's way. He's not. He's gonna show up, he's gonna give a speech, he's gonna record it, and he's gonna get out of here, and they're just gonna write me off. But if I can come in there and support, or everyone else can come in and support, and give you the right stuff to say, and you're a constituent, that's what they care about, because you live right there. And if you're saying the things that they need to hear, that's what matters. And they know that you're in their town. They know that you're in their district, and that you're going to have a voice and you're going to show up. they're going to start doing things our way. But you have to get involved, guys. We have got to get involved. This is running season right now. It's coming up, at least here in everywhere. It's happening. So get involved. Start making phone calls. Start getting active. Do something. So, anyways, I went on a little bit of a rant. Get involved. Go out there. What is it, like rock the boat, right? Wasn't that something they did back in the day on MTV? If that's is that even like a thing? Anyways, MTV was the thing back in the day, and they rocked the vote. Go out there and get involved. Reach out to us. Anybody that's in this group, if you follow them and they're doing shared parenting stuff and they're talking about this, they got ideas. And if they don't, they got people that they can call to get you the ideas you might need for your state. They are willing and actively here wanting to support. When you message my page, it freaking gives you my cell phone number. I mean, young people use it, very few, but I give it away. Like it is everywhere, and you can get me at any time you want. If you have a question, if you want something, reach out. But I can't do anything if you don't. You have got to reach out and try. And I'm here to support, and everybody on here is here to support. We want to get this to happen. I don't care if my name's on it. I don't give a shit if my name's on anything. If every state had all this stuff done and we had no more of these problems, I would be tickled pink. I'd find something else to do, you know? But I'm so committed to this because I went through it and I know what all my friends went through. And then the more and more I get involved, the more I've been involved, that I've been doing it for 8 years now, 8.5 years, 8.5. Shoot, it's almost 9 years now. I'm saying nine. I'm just going there. My son would say nine because he's, you're 8.5. You're like, almost nine. It's nine. That's how it goes when you're that age. And so now it's nine. I'm already there. I'm just going to take it early. And because of that, I am been doing this and I've been seeing it. And I've talked to people over and over again. And I know all the troubles and all the drama and all the hard times. And it's awful and it's terrible. But we're not going to change if we don't stop it. And is it going to help us? Will I get to have equal time with my son? Maybe not. Probably not. And it hurts my heart to think that. And then nothing I do is going to make a difference for our relationship as a kid and stuff. But you know what's going to happen? If I do nothing anymore because I won't get it from my son, he's going to go through this. He knows that I've been doing this already. If he goes through this stuff, knowing that I've already gone through all this, and that I didn't keep going, I didn't stop it, what does that say about how much I love him and am committed to him? Nah, it got hard, son. They didn't like me. They told me no 7 times. And so I had to quit. Couldn't do it no more. I can't tell him that. And you guys shouldn't tell your kids that either. Keep going. Of course they're going to tell you no right away. They don't want you to get this. They're making money off it. They are coming after you guys, but you have to go out there and fight for it. Our kids deserve us to go out there and fight for it. And if we don't get it, even if it doesn't get successful, you know what? You can always say, man, I gave everything I had. I did everything I could possibly think of. I put everything, every ounce of my beingness. I was fully committed. I never gave up. I kept trying, and I'm still here trying now. And I'm never going to quit. I won't quit till the day I die. You're going to see me here until the freaking end, bro. That's how it goes. So get used to this or unfollow. Don't unfollow. But if you want to, do it. I don't care. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. I want you guys to get out there and vote. I want to change these laws. I don't want my son to be doing this in 10 years. I don't want my son to be going through what I went through. I don't want your kids to go through this stuff. I see it all the freaking time, man. It's terrible. And it's not okay. And people are making money off this stuff and using these things and our kids as weapons and pawns. And you should be outraged and willing to do whatever it takes. And it might mean you have to, not scroll through here and watching a bunch of random crap, but actually making sending out an email, sending out a message, asking for some help, doing something like that. So get after it, guys. Get involved. Get uncomfortable doing the things that are going to make the change. 100% we need to end this. And it's going to be hard. It feels weird. I'm going to tell you what, when I go and testify every time, man, I'm nervous, man. My freaking heart's pounding and stuff. Am I going to say the right things? Am my words going to be blah, 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 blah? Am I going to say ums and ahs and mess it all up? Yes. And I do. I mean, I'm not the most polished speaker in the whole entire world. I still think I got a lot of work to do to be a better speaker. And I have been actually watching videos and practicing so I do a better job when I speak, so I have less ums and less mishaps when I'm talking. I was doing it again, but I didn't have to before. It wasn't important, but now it is. And because it's important, and I'm trying to make these changes, and I want to be impactful in the words that I say and the message that I deliver, I am working on those things so I can do that for myself, for my son, and for you guys. And you need to make yourself uncomfortable and push yourself. Get out there, guys. Man, there's nothing better to do. Especially if you don't have your kids. If you don't have them, what are you working on? You better be in the gym, working on something good, meal prepping, or working on trying to change the laws. How are you gonna do something different? Make some more money. Make a change. Find a new hobby, new path. Do something that's gonna move the ball forward and change this world. It's on us. We have to do it. It's on you guys. It's on me. And I'm committed and I'm here. And I'm not giving up and I'm not going nowhere. So come with me and let's do this stuff and make it happen. There's a whole bunch of people here all the time working on this stuff, and we're working on it and we're committed. Jump on board, ask how you can help, get involved, and then do it. And then ask for more. You know how you're gonna get more involved and you be more part of this team of people that are doing this stuff? It's by asking how you can help. And then whatever somebody tells you to do, doing what they say and ask, and then coming back and asking for more. Did that, what's next? Did that, what's next? You know? Each state, yes. Each state has a team. There are people everywhere. I mean, if there isn't one that you don't know about, hit me up. I probably know somebody in every state working on this, and if I don't, I know somebody who knows somebody. It's like Kevin Bacon. All right, I got you. All right, you guys hit me up if you need it. But you can see right here, women supporting equal parents' rights. She's on this thing and she's committed and she is there all the time. And so hit her up. Hit me up. If you want to talk to her, talk to her. I'm cool with that. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I hardly even have any. So I just want to see this win, man. I want to see these states passing these things. I'm not satisfied that it's got 7 of them right now and nothing's happened in the last couple of years. I'm not satisfied with that. We have to do things differently. We have to do more. And we need more people showing up. When I go to the Capitol and it's me and Tom and Nick in that room, or Shane, give Shane some love in his I want to say it's his girlfriend, maybe his wife. Shit, I should know. Anyways, they're showing up. That's it. There's 5 of us. There's more lobbyists showing up for the other team in that room than there is people who are fighting for their kids. They're there fighting for money and holding their kids to make money, and us whose kids are on the line aren't showing up. Not even sending in emails. I couldn't even send an email. I wrote the email. I gave you the thing. I showed you how to sign up for it. It took me 50 seconds to make a video to show you how to do it, and people still didn't do it. Right? I had thousands of people commenting and making likes and stuff on it, but they didn't take the time to actually do what's in the video that was a 59-second short. I made it that short on purpose so it would fit inside the shorts. And it's doable in that little bit of time. And you could do it too, but it takes people want to just be uncomfortable. Get comfortable in the uncomfortable. They're trying to numb you, they're trying to destroy you, they're trying to hold you down. They've got you right where they want you at right now. The only way we're going to get this back is by stepping out of that comfort zone, getting uncomfortable, and doing that thing until it becomes comfortable. And then guess what? Then you get more uncomfortable. Go to that next level. Don't stop there. Keep going. That's how we're going to do it, guys. That's it. And that's how we're going to change this thing. You know, if we have 200 people in that room and we're in the hallway every single time and there's no seats left, you know what's going to happen? They're going to recognize that. That's going to make a difference. When we go in those rooms and there's more lobbyists and more people against us in the room than there are for us, and not because, and they don't care why they're there, even though I know why they're there and we all know why they're there, but they don't care. But when we're there in the room more than everybody else, we're the ones that are that. We're the ones that they're going to be paying attention to when they go, holy shit, the hallway's packed. There's no room inside this building in this committee room right now. We have no room for anybody to be in here. This is the part where that's where they start recognizing, okay, they're here to play. They're not messing around. And we need to start listening because if there's 200 people in this place, we're breaking fire code. And that's what we got to do. We've got to be doing that. I mean, have got to get active. And you guys have to get off your butts. I can't do it. I'm standing right now. I'm not even on my butt. I'm standing. And my son's got basketball, so I'm out of here. Deuces, guys. Let's make it happen. Love you, Lauren.